Welcome to the Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian.
It isn't.
Not really.
Oh, Russ was asking what team similar to the Midnight Express since then has happened? You know, like more current.
More current version.
Yeah, I mean, to Rick's point, WWE likes to make them. Everybody has to be a brother or related in some way.
Or they're just two people they throw together like AJ and Omos
Yeah,
that have nothing to do and just, they're not doing anything. Put them out there.
yeah. My favorite thing that they do is when you have a tag team that works, whether it's male or female, like say the Iconics, for instance, and they've got incredible chemistry together and, let's break them up and make them singles. And then 2 weeks later, now teaming with completely different people. And if you were going to keep them in a tag team,
Right.
keep them together because it doesn't make sense to put them with someone else.
Yeah, that was
That chemistry doesn't work.
No, that made no sense, among other things.
Nothing they do makes sense anymore.
And it was funny too because that whole thing with the Iconics, Billie Kay, I thought she was making the best of what she was given.
Yep.
You know, and came up with that stupid headshot gimmick.
Right.
But it was better than.
Yeah, it worked. It was funny.
You know, it was just Peyton didn't really. That was just kind of like, just let me wrestle, and that just didn't really do well at all.
Yeah,
I remember reading
just super, super, super hot.
Yes. I remember reading there was like a thing she went backstage, talked to Vince, and she was like, I have this idea. And Vince was like, I don't really like it. Do you have anything else? And she was just like, nope. And like 2 weeks later she was gone. You know, she just was dead set on this one thing and nope.
You got to go to Vince with about 3 or 4 different ideas. And there's been a lot of people who have said that over the years, that you can't just go to him with one idea because he's going to shoot the first one down, and he always does, unless it's 100% perfect. I mean, Mick Foley went to him with a bunch of different things. Kane had a bunch of different things. So it wasn't just, one stuff.
Right.
Yay!
I've heard other instances too where people have gone like just every day. Hey, I got this idea. I got this idea, and just no. Like, and it's kind of like the same thing. It's almost like too much.
Yeah, and sometimes they give it to somebody else.
That's what Malakai Black did for about 6 months while he wasn't being used. He'd go there and give him ideas left and right, and Vince would be like, yeah, I'll get back to
That's
you on
who
that.
it was. Yeah, I remember. That's
Nothing.
who it was.
Yep. So they must have had 10 ideas for him, and he never said anything. He just said, let me think about that one. I'll get back to you. And never did.
I remember there was this was a couple of years ago. Freddie Prinze Jr. tweeted something about how like he did a certain angle that passed through, and he was proud of it and stuff like that. And then I just kind of wrote to that tweet and said, I would love to see a book of like all the things that you've presented him.
Yep.
And he responded, and he was just like, I presented him basically a million things. The book wouldn't even fit on a table, kind of thing. So like, I can't imagine how much ideas that go through through Vince that just like are just like killed or not even responded to. It's just like insane.
Yeah.
Then you see some of the ideas that they're actually doing lately, and you're just like, what were the other ones that were pitched? Like, if this is the stuff that gets through, what the hell else was pitched?
Yeah. Yeah.
What absolute garbage fire is being thrown his way on a daily basis?
It's like what made them say, okay, guys, we're going with Dewdrop. You know what I mean? Like it just. Yeah.
What names were brought up before Eva Marie got her job back? What names were, hey, we should bring this person in? And Vince settled on Eva Marie.
Maybe Vince brought it up and no one dared say no.
He's become
Eva
Mr.
Marie.
Burns.
A lot of people don't want to say no when he brings up something, so they just stay silent.
Yeah, he's Mr. Burns. He's Mr. Burns, all of his yes men who
Exactly.
he's going to be trying to figure out whether he wants ketchup or catsup soon. Where's the McMahon-O's? He'll put nobody's on cereal boxes.
Anything going on SmackDown right now? Is anyone watching it?
That's
No.
cute. I forgot it was on
I don't have it on.
halfway through the show.
I'm sure
watching-
nothing's great's happened.
No, I just throw on old 95 Nitros now. That's my new thing. I'm just
Oh,
starting
yeah?
at episode 1.
Nice.
It's crazy some of the matches that they have, and then it's also ridiculous at some of the stuff that they put on, like Disco Inferno feuding with Hawk from the Road Warriors, just for some reason.
You know what, though? I would rather see that match than Sheamus versus Humberto Carrillo, whatever the heck his name is. I would much rather see Disco Inferno versus Hawk.
Yeah, that's true.
They did Jay versus Dominic in the opener.
Oh, wonderful.
Shinsuke versus Apollo Crews in the next one.
And as we learned last week, Apollo Crews is Intercontinental Champion. I did not know that.
Commander Aziz pulled Nakamura out, so it was a DQ after about 5 minutes. Wonderful. I guess that's it so far.
Terrible stuff.
It's just awful. It's just unwatchable.
Yeah.
Making deals. Finding whoever the Juventud Guerrero wrestler of the week is.
It's not going to be Juventud
It's
Guerrero.
definitely
That's
not to Guerrero. That's a goddamn
holy
show.
crap. That, first off, you can't open a show with that. You can't. That match was and it's not like Jericho helped him at all.
No.
That was actually my first dislike was that match. That was this whole Labor of Jericho thing it's everywhere. It's like, how do you go from rolling in glass, you know what I mean, and bleeding everywhere, and then the next week you're just wrestling Juventud where you need to win by hitting a move off the top rope.
And then to next week where I don't know how you book
You
a way
just
out
wrestle
of
a
this.
dude. You just wrestle a dude next week. It's like, right? There's no stipulation. It's just
No,
Wardlow. Right?
MGF is the referee.
No,
Oh,
he's,
okay.
he's not the ref.
Oh.
JR screwed that up.
Oh,
He's gonna be
shocking.
at ringside. He's not the ref.
Oh,
Good old JR.
it would have made more sense. And well, it makes more sense to not have him as the referee because you can't really book a way out of that. If he's the referee, obviously he's going to find a way to screw Jericho over, and he doesn't get to that fifth labor.
Right.
But what do you do for the fifth one? Like, you know what I mean? I feel like Gage, if that's the case, he should have been 5. You know what I mean? That should have been the last one. I don't
Unless
know.
the last one's MJF, I don't know.
Well, isn't that the whole point of those 5?
I don't know. They never said if
MJF?
they just said 5 labors to get to him. I don't know if he's the
Oh.
fifth. If like he's the last step, I don't know. They really never clarified it, so it's one of those. I'm not exactly sure where they're going.
Right.
This one thing is where there's complaints about AEW storylines not being consistent or coherent. We've seen that a lot on the internet. I love what they do, but you've got this whole labor thing, and it's just like, where are we going with this? We don't even know the rules. Is it MJF as number 5, or is
Right.
MJF after number 5? And
Right, exactly.
I don't understand why we're going from a hardcore death match with light tubes and pizza cutters to a man who hasn't wrestled in 20 years and looked it.
Right.
Like
it's every, you know what I mean? Like, okay, the Sean Spears, you know, okay, he can use a chair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then it's just, I mean, even that should have been probably, you know,
3.
third. Yeah, I was gonna say who we should have been first. If you're gonna just start out with like, you know, something like
He
that,
may
you
have been.
do.
Maybe he wasn't able to get there.
That's true.
They
Oh,
may
he
have had
should
to
have
move things around. You never know.
Right.
That
I mean,
I
that
know
does-
Nick Gage is in LA since like Tuesday. So say he was supposed to be this past week's one, where they have the 2 shows out there. They've been out there promoting it all week. They might have had to switch things around. I mean, they'll never
I
tell us
see.
until after the fact. But
Right.
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
that Juventud match, right from the first spot, was just awful. And like I said, Jericho didn't help him out any. I don't know whether, you know, Jericho just had an off night. He looked very bloated too, by the way.
He didn't look good at all. No.
No, I mean, he's been looking better the last few weeks, and all of a sudden, I don't know whether he carved up prior to the match or something, but neither one of them were in
Maybe
the
the
right
Gage
place at the
match
right
took
time.
more out of him than we thought it did.
I mean, he's 50 now.
Yep.
I mean,
Exactly. You never know. He just might not have rebounded that quickly.
those death matches, that's not for the old.
No.
Those are for the kids. Well,
Or if you just do what Nick Gage does, he just does it, but he doesn't do any bumps really. Those are his bumps, falling in the glass.
Yeah, I just don't know where you go from there. It's, you know, who, like, I mean, I don't know what they were expecting. Like you said, they probably just
I don't know,
had to move something around.
It seems
but-
like if I had to put my hand on it, is they changed it up because something happened schedule wise or whatever. I mean, I don't know.
that actually makes a lot of sense.
It
too.
seems like it should be different. It's hard, especially when you're bringing in people that don't work for you. They're not going to be there every week. It's kind of, are you available? No, I
Right.
can't do it. What do we do now? Oh, let's
Yep.
change it up.
But you would think if AEW came calling and was like, "Hey, can you be here this week?" I mean, most people would be, "Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah, I'll be there." You know what I
Probably,
mean? But then again, who knows what Hoovy's up to?
but he's his own person.
Not working, that's for sure.
Yeah. He's busy. What's he busy doing? No one knows.
Holy crap. Are there not like freaking high school gymnasiums between where he lives and where AEW was last week that he could headline some shows here and there? Holy crap.
Should be able to. And he's younger than Jericho, which is even funnier.
He actually delivered a leg drop of doom.
There was one thing on commentary that they mentioned. I thought it was kind of funny, and it was like Juventud beat Chris Jericho like 7 times or something. Like it was, you know, random. It was like 7 or 8 times. And then I think Excalibur was like, you know, and they've wrestled, you know, wrestled like roughly, you know, 40 times or something like that. It was like something along the line. So I'm
Yeah.
just like doing the math. I'm like, that sucks. Like,
Yeah.
that was, it was like whoever gave that stat is no, that was bad.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You know, the AEW announced team is not the strength of the promotion.
Speaking of, did you see the announced team they have for Rampage?
Yes.
4-man
No.
booth. You really need a 4-man booth?
That's a
I
lot
think
of people.
Jericho's just for that first week.
Oh,
I
okay,
can't see him
'cause
being there the whole time. That's too many.
Who are the other 3?
Henry and
Excalibur,
Excalibur
right? Taz.
and Taz.
All right, Taz is great. Taz is good on commentary. I don't know
Excalibur
what,
can go home.
yeah, I don't know. Look, and no knock on any of the people that, because I was one of them that used to do commentary on the EWA shows, but Excalibur is just slightly a step up from those days,
Yeah,
and not by much.
No, you're absolutely right. I literally thought that, you know, because I mean, you think about it, that's how he got started as well. Those PWG DVDs, that's
Yep.
exactly what he was doing. He was sitting in some public access TV station in California somewhere, editing PWG DVDs.
He
Doing
sounds like
commentary.
he sounds like Scotty. when Scotty was doing commentary for us with the EWA, that's what Excalibur sounds like. And every time I'm watching AEW, all I can hear is Scotty.
He's just so like too. He's kind of like in that Moro Ronaldo kind of area where it's like if you just constantly scream the whole time, nothing's gonna like be amazing. You know what I mean? Like if an arm drag, like if you know what I mean, like if you like calm down, call it just what you know. He just everything is just he has to yell all the time.
I agree. The difference with Ronaldo though is that he still can make it entertaining. Like he can make that arm drag entertaining with that. But you're right. After a while, it's like, all right, this really isn't that exciting. Slow down, buddy.
Right. You're calling like a superplex the same, as like a, Canadian destroyer off the stage through a barbed wire table. It's all the same. If you're just constantly screaming about how crazy stuff is, nothing's that crazy anymore.
I miss the days of having a heel and a babyface commentary guy, like when you had Gorilla and Heenan.
That's what Taz, if you watch Dark at all, which no one really does, that's how Excalibur and Taz do it.
Taz is perfect for that.
Taz is the total heel in it. It's great.
He's fantastic. But he's
I don't know what you're going to get from Mark Henry. I don't know what he's going to give you.
I hope he wears his salmon suit. That's all that matters to me.
Does Mark Henry doesn't he already do commentary for? No, he hasn't done anything yet.
Paul White does it on Elevation with Shivani.
Okay, and then Dark is Excalibur and Taz. You said
right. Yeah. Okay. And Henry was coming in to do Rampage, and it was supposed to be someone with him. I don't know. Unless they have another name coming, it was supposed to be somebody that wasn't doing commentary with them. But as you saw, things have changed. I know there was rumors of Ronaldo actually coming in to do Rampage.
Oh, really?
Maybe he's not available, or he said no after all. I'm not sure.
I do feel like AEW would be a good fit for Morrow.
Yeah.
Just the more, I guess, like lax, commentary style that AEW has, especially on their YouTube shows.
Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone really pays attention to those. That tells you how much QT's out of his mind. Because they'll like have a botch in the middle of the commentary. They'll start giggling about it and they just leave it.
We've done that.
Oh yeah, we know all about it.
You know who doesn't watch those YouTube shows? Apparently, Tony Khan.
He does now.
Yeah.
Yep, he will be now.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he goes. He does Elevation and he does Dynamite, and then QT takes over in Gorilla with Whitmer, and they do Dark together as in charge of it. So Tony takes a break. Not anymore.
No.
Because I listened to the rap, I was expecting like something just like the worst thing that's ever been rapped ever,
right?
And it wasn't. Like the Simone Biles part wasn't anything like the Duke.
No, I think the Duke lacrosse thing was kind of like the biggest.
Yeah, that might be a problem.
And then talking about like a small child's private part. I mean, she's not a small child, but she's
only
like,
19.
She's ECW barely legal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like she.
Well, it was done because he's not good, and he needs like other stuff to do, but like it wasn't like an attitude error, it just wasn't funny. Right. If someone else said it, then it could be like, oh, or like that was funny, or that was they crossed the line kind of thing. But he can't let it just people don't respect him. Like he's gained no respect in the ring, or gained no respect with the fans to even be able to kind of get away with this. Because like look at like Katie Vick, like it's just used as a joke now. But because Triple H and Kane have done so much that it was like oh, like then, and it's still but like now it's referenced as a joke during his like anniversary on SmackDown or anything like that, where this rap doesn't really do anything for anybody. I guess
it does something for me. I never knew that you could. And
the Bloodhound Gang made a whole song about that, actually.
See, I never heard that, and I feel like this opened up a whole new world of songwriting for
me. We need a song next week, then.
I might be able to make that work.
It has to involve Goldberg, Bob.
Oh no. We'll edit that one out.
Why? It's legal. She's 19. It's not like she's 15 or anything. She's 19. She's of age.
Even Goldberg could have her.
Oh boy.
It's too old for Jerry Lawler, though.
Yep.
Probably about 10 years.
If there's grass on the field, Jerry Lawler stays away.
Jerry Lawler's girlfriend hasn't been born yet.
Yeah, really. So I guess we hit one of your negatives and one of my negatives. Does anyone else have a different negative?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just say you had Jericho and Hoovy as well.
No, I had the rap.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, I was just saying I had Jericho and Hoovy. So.
Yeah, Jericho and Hoovy was definitely one of mine. Another one of mine is Goldberg's stupid kid. Enough with this. Why is he getting involved? Why is he there? At least he kept his shirt on this time.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you have to think he has to, like, there has to be some kind of physicality at some point, right? If he's getting.
Well, you got 2 more shows until SummerSlam hits, so it's got to happen.
The kid's been playing baseball, and from what I hear, he's actually really good at it. So I hope he sticks with that. I don't want him to be another Dominic Mysterio.
Sure.
I don't want 3 years
he
from
looks
now.
Better than Dominic Mysterio. He is a better build and better.
And he actually looks like he could be Goldberg's kid.
Right.
True.
Like Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic needs to put on a mask, and until he does,
let's hope it happens soon.
It's funny. I remember reading about this on online that he was trying to change his name to Prince Mysterio.
Really?
I read that a few months back.
I think I heard that too.
And when a few weeks ago I went to the store in the outlets at Foxwoods, and it's like a sports memorabilia store, and they had a Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio picture, and he actually signed it like that's what it was. It was really? Prince Mysterio.
Interesting.
Well, there's Balor, so you can't do the Prince thing, and then there's also Prince,
I didn't even think about that. The whole Finn Balor thing.
It's probably more Finn Balor, but like. Also, you'd have to be Prince Mysterio and not just the Prince or that
right.
Thing.
Exactly. You can't just say Prince.
And Vince hates double names.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually he would be just Prince. Because Vince can't handle it for some reason.
And knowing the Prince probably his people have a copy written, I'm sure.
The artist formerly known as Prince Mysterio.
Yep. Right.
It's just a symbol.
Yeah.
It's a dumpster fire.
That can be Dominic's new name. It can be just the symbol, and they never say his name.
Well, Goldust already did that.
True.
To do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that leads into
another negative.
Is not a negative. It's more of a question. Is Cody Rhodes really retiring?
That's actually my second negative. So,
that he's retiring?
I feel like it was unnecessary. You know what I mean? You just got squashed. Okay, yeah, everyone knows you're going to go film television.
Yeah.
You know, you're not retiring. Don't take your boots off. You know, it's just, and I feel like every time Cody takes time off, he does some kind of like
Hey, look at me.
old NWA 80s trope. You know what I mean? It like, for instance, he loses the belt to Brody in a squash.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back and they have a dog collar match. Like I feel like it's more the negative is I guess less about the whole Cody retiring angle than more just like I love AEW, but I just feel like they go balls out too much. I guess if that's, you know what I'm saying? Like they had the Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. The start of their feud was War Games. You know what I mean? War Games is supposed to be the end of a feud. And I just feel like, just out of nowhere, QT Marshall and Cody Rhodes a couple weeks ago, they just have a random ass strap match just for the hell of it. You know what I mean? But no build whatsoever. Hey, strap match. You know, and I feel like every time it's like, Cody's like, all right, what did my dad do?
Oh, he's always thinking about it because he's looking at everything he does, right?
Right, and it just...
I'm waiting for him to return as the Midnight Rider one of these weeks. Like he's gonna lose, leaves town, and he comes back under a mask. It's happening at some point. Not
for nothing. You got Cody being like, "Well, I can't ever challenge for the AEW title."
Yep.
But the Midnight Cody can. You know what I mean? Just like,
he'll call himself the Midnight Rider, just like his dad did. You know where they're going there. That's the next time he needs to take time off. They'll probably do something like that.
So my issue with the retirement thing, it wasn't just that he got up and retired. It's the fact that Malakai Black just nailed him, at the end of that match. And Cody just gets up like immediately after Malakai's announced as the winner, he just gets right up, almost no sells the finisher, and decides it's time to have a whole conversation with the crowd, which to me, and they could easily fix this, but to me, it was like
done it the following week,
or maybe sold the move a little bit more. I know they were up against time at the end there.
That's
but
probably what happened. Is time was
exactly what it is.
Yeah, because
unfortunately,
that kind of like by selling the move, it kind of made Malakai look a little weak. Like good enough to beat him, but weak to not keep him down.
I think with that was, at least he got the visual of just the nonchalant foot on the chest. Even JR was like, that's not going to get him.
Yeah.
And then it gets him.
Right.
I mean, it was kind of the saving grace, just being like, plus he just beat him. So, just, yeah. And, I don't know. I don't think they needed to do the whole retiring and, it's just like, Cody just does, when he, what the hell's that guy's name? The boxer.
A
go-go. And he had the whole, you know what I mean? It's just the whole America versus, England thing. And he's all, it's just, come on. Like,
brought the American dream back for one day.
Yeah. No, you don't know. Just stop. I like Cody. I like his, you know what I mean? He's pretty entertaining, but I just feel like he's too over the top, and he's just watching too much NWA television.
He's a tryhard.
That's the one thing with Tony Khan is he's such a historian that he probably loves when all this stuff gets put out there, and it's like he won't say no even if it probably shouldn't be done. He's so into it. He goes, all right, let's do it.
I mean,
which doesn't help at times.
No,
you can tell. It's like, oh, come on.
And Cody would do anything to be, a Hollywood star.
Yeah.
So maybe he's also doing all these different things to
show range,
show himself,
sure.
Right? Show range, show himself that he can do it, and then show others that like, oh, look at me, I'm doing this and doing that. So give me my own action movie or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up being on one of like the TNT shows that they're going to be producing, in the next year or so. Just even if it's a guest starring role or something. I could see him in something. Like when Edge was doing the show for USA there, I could see something like that with Cody involved.
Don't they have that reality show coming up soon too?
Yeah, Cody and Brandy. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I don't know.
I think that's in the winter sometime. It's supposed to be on. I won't.
Yeah, they have that there on Ms. and Mrs.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's now a dad, and like a whole thing.
I feel like Cody, like at some point, has to think he's the luckiest dude ever. Just thank you for letting me meet the Young Bucks, because I really feel like that's how this whole thing. I mean, the whole thing started with him and the Young Bucks, and from what it looks like, they can't stand each other anymore.
It was the list and meeting them.
He mentioned that, by the way, in that speech, that there's some infighting going on. He actually addressed it.
There was, but apparently it's not much anymore. It's just they don't involve with each other as much as they used to, but they still get along now. But there was some infighting or something that stopped them from talking for a little while. They wouldn't just bring it up like that, just like.
I also feel like too, it's only bound to happen when you have that many, too many cooks in the kitchen. You just have so much, you got Cody booking everything. You got the Young Bucks booking the tag division. You got Kenny booking the women's division. I guess Tony Khan is like the Vince and everything funnels through him, but
he takes care of it all now. When they first started, they were, but Tony's now in charge of everything. They might give you an idea. This is how we want to do it, but he has final say on everything now. All of it. I know Kenny brings in what ladies they wanted in, but he's not as involved with that or the finishes or anything like that. They've changed it up. They got like Jerry Lynn's in there. They have Dean Malenko, Arn Anderson, Tully. A lot of those guys are just like crew now that are kind of in charge of making sure everything makes sense and all that. Like who should go over? Why should they go over? What's that point? The EVPs probably have a lot of say in, what kind of matches we should do, or everyone kind of has a say on what they want to do with their character or what kind of matches who they want to work with and stuff, but they're not up there anymore. Like as the last, that's it. Like Cody's not gonna, all right, Malakai's going over and then I'm doing a retirement speech. Tony's all in charge of that, coming up with what exactly happens. But, you need somebody. If 5 different people giving you ideas, the show's never going to work together or mesh together or flow together at all.
So speaking of Malakai Black, that was actually one of my positives was his debut. The match just made him look like an absolute star, like an absolute main event, top tier.
Right.
Just there's no reason he shouldn't be up in that title picture. Like I'd say after Christian, depending on how. I guess if Punk actually comes out in a few weeks, maybe you call an audible, but at some point I feel like he should be, up wrestling for that title.
I believe he could be up there before Punk or Daniel Bryan or any of them. I don't think you need to put them right in the title picture right away. There's no reason to. People just want to see them. Give them 6 months before you put them in a title area. Look what they did with Christian. He came in and basically they were trying to bump him right up to the top there and people didn't buy it at all. So that's why they shoved him down and did all this stuff with Matt Hardy and now Jurassic Express and all that. I think they kind of learned just because they come in, you shouldn't push them right up to the top. Punk doesn't need a belt right away. People aren't going to care if he has it or not. People want to see him,
Right.
Same with Daniel Bryan. You bring them in, just give him a few feuds to do or whatever before you even think about putting him in the title picture. You don't have to.
They're just going to be happy that Punk's back.
Right.
He doesn't need a title at all.
No.
And that roster is going to be stacked for world title contenders. I was actually thinking about this. I know this is a change in the subject. Maybe we could do this later just to throw it out there. I was really trying to think of who the world title contenders for the WWE actually are right now, like legit world title contenders on both shows. And then you look at the list of people who could actually challenge for the title in AEW, and it's, night and day different.
Right.
So we could talk about now or later or whatever. We can go back to this topic, but I was just thinking about that they got Christian challenging for it now. He mentioned that the other night.
Not quite sure, but he's now number one contender, so it's looking that way.
Yeah. I said it the other day, he's boring.
Sure.
He always has been. But he's a viable contender.
Right.
And
exactly.
It's something more than the WWE has right now. And the WWE had to go outside the company really for it.
Mm-hmm.
They had to bring in guys that haven't been around it forever.
I mean, to be fair, I guess AEW kind of did the same. You know what I mean? Like, one of us brought that up a few months ago, a few weeks ago. It was just, there was a time where we couldn't even, who would even challenge next week for a title? There was just no viable contenders anywhere. I mean, WWE, I guess at this point, you got Big E because, Money in the Bank, but
I'm going to say him.
I guess Drew McIntyre.
Still, I would agree with that.
Right.
But besides those two, I don't.
Yeah. I mean, you could plug Kevin Owens in there, but it's just, that he's not
a viable contender right now.
Not a viable, but
no.
But as for Roman Reigns, there's no one.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's just nobody.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing about AEW too, is that you have Orange Cassidy.
Yep.
2 months ago, challenging Kenny for the title, and you look at Orange Cassidy and like, all right, he's not a viable contender, but he made it viable.
Right.
Jungle Boy did the same thing last month.
Mm-hmm.
You look at him, it's like, this guy's not ready yet, and he's not. He will be one day.
Right.
But that match was fantastic. And when I mentioned this the other day about, you look at who has the WWE made in the last year or so, like who have they brought up? Who have they, created? And this really, like, it concerns me. It legit concerns me because in the Attitude Era prior to that, leading up to it, they had no choice but to create people. And I think they forgot how to do that.
Right.
I mean, really, what the last person that I guess I would say they put any kind of effort into is the trash Alexa Bliss storyline that they're doing. I mean, other than that, they're just, they're not giving anybody any kind of effort, really.
And all that storyline is just, Wyndham Rotunda rebooted into a female.
Just about.
Notice how I didn't call him Bray Wyatt, because he's not with the company anymore. So he's back to Wyndham Rotunda.
Right. Come on, JR. Yeah, that's what Cena was saying earlier today. I was telling Rick and Russ that before you signed on, was that he was doing an interview with USA Today saying that the WWE is relying on all the part-timers and legends and older guys instead of creating new talent. And he goes, they're kind of, your future is very unstable because they're only going to be around for how much longer? You can't rely on them. Say 2 years down the road and they haven't built anyone up. You can't bring in Goldberg at 60. Like, that's just stupid.
Well, and that's the thing. Who are the guys that are in the WWE now who 5, 6, 7, 10 years from now you're bringing back as the nostalgia piece, as the John Cena now, and so on and so forth?
There really aren't many.
You bring Kofi Kingston back in 10 years. You bring in...
He's not going to get any kind of pop that any of the ones that they do now would.
The one guy that they had, people are being released as we speak. Oh, my goodness. The one guy that they could have had was AJ Styles, and they've relegated him to comedy duties and tossed him in this awful tag team.
Right.
That's something that's criminal to me. You take a talent like that and you handcuff them like this. It's just, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles, the crazy thing about AJ is, like you said, he's probably one of the best that they have on the roster. He's doing whatever he's doing right now, and it's he's what, 45 years old?
44,
You know what I mean?
45, either way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's starting to look it too, by the way.
Right. But he's still, you know what I mean? He's still one of the best that they have, I would say. And it just kind of, it makes me laugh because it's like, back 20 years ago, watching Monday Nitro, 99 or whatever, and Hogan and the Macho Man are on there, and it's like, oh man, these guys are old as hell. And it's like, but not, they were at the time 44, 45.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like, so it's kind of crazy how they don't look as aged, I guess, or it's, they're, it's probably like all the cocaine that they don't do anymore, but
So not to interrupt you, Rick, but WWE is starting to release a bunch of people right now.
right now,
Bronson Reed got
Bronson
released.
Reed.
What?
Mercedes Martinez, Jake
Wow.
Atlas,
Who was the third person?
Bobby Fish.
Wow.
Jake
Guy's
Atlas,
great at chess.
Jake Atlas, Bobby Fish, Mercedes Martinez, and Bronson Reed. But there's more coming.
Wow.
How
What?
do you? Wasn't Bronson Reed just in like a major storyline?
He was
on
supposed to.
NXT?
North
He was
American
supposed to
champ.
come up. Yep.
I just cracked my. I gotta put myself on mute because I can't get control.
Tom's a maniac.
So wait, so Bronson
Nobody
Reed
got-
was just North American champion. They were kind of grooming him.
He'd
Bobby
been,
Fish-
working on Raw as a dark match in the last 3 or 4 weeks because they've been working with him to be ready for his Raw debut.
Bobby
Really?
Fish is 108 years old, but like, so I
Knight
mean,
to Rook 7.
but the thing with Bobby Fish now is that what will Adam Cole think?
Adam Cole's
If-
gone.
If Kyle O'Reilly's on this list, then we know Cole ain't coming back at all.
He got offered. There was a report today. Cole got offered a 7-year deal
From who?
from AEW. He's trying.
Well,
WWF is trying to negotiate with him, but
Tony-
AEW is.
Tony Khan went on there to say we haven't talked to him because that'd be illegal tampering because he's still under contract for a few more weeks. They may have.
7-year deal. That's like
What?
a hockey contract.
What
Mark
could-
Henry got 10 years, sight unseen.
Who
It's
did?
true.
Mark
10
Henry.
years. Mark Henry, 10 years, 10 million.
Yeah, sight unseen. Guy couldn't work to save his life in those days.
What
Nuts.
what else could Adam Cole do though? I just, because I don't feel like he'd be good on the main roster. That he would just, and there's only, what else can you do in NXT?
He has nothing left to do in NXT now. I mean,
Right.
as we were talking, Vince wanted him to report to SmackDown today to have a personal one-on-one meeting. You know what that's leading to.
Oh, boy.
He's desperate to keep him, but what's he going to give him?
Right.
It's
I
going to
mean,
be
if that's-
main roster, but just going to the main roster is one thing. You got to give him something.
Yeah, and not for nothing, you look at Keith Lee and Karrion Kross and Bronson Reed.
Okay, we got more names now. Kona Reeves, Asher Hale,
Oh,
Tyler Rust, a referee,
Tyler Rust.
Leon Ruff, Zachariah Smith. I don't know. It's a PC guy. Gary Sterling.
Ari Sterling was Alex Zane on the Indies.
Oh, okay. And then a Giant Zangier.
That was one of the Great Khali guys.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you know, like, remember how they put what was it? They did Indus Shear and the Khali
Right.
trainees,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
split
yeah,
them
yeah.
up.
Right.
He
Okay.
was one of them.
I couldn't remember who that was. Supposedly that's who got released so far.
Jake Atlas got released. Anyone call Tony?
That's Jason.
Oh god. I mean, I'm surprised at Bobby Fish, but at the same time, he's kind of injury prone.
With how many injuries he's had, I'm not shocked by that one, but
Right.
he's pretty big guy of all NXT
Right.
guys that they cut.
Bronson Reed, that's kind of
That's
nuts.
a huge. He's supposed to go up to the main roster. That's a big one. As Russ said, he had the North American title, and they was being used a good way, and then they just cut him.
and he just recently responded to the Bray Wyatt news too.
Oh, did
and on Twitter, I think he kind of was just like he couldn't believe it, or was like he was like, "What the hell?" kind of thing. Like, so I don't know if it's something as little as that, but yeah, I don't.
I mean,
I
Alexa
get it.
Bliss and all sorts of other people have said stuff about why'd you let him go?
Unless those names are coming.
Leon Ruff. I'm not surprised.
I liked him.
He was good, but
Former champion, former North American champion, right?
yeah, he lucked into that one.
He was.
He lucked into that.
It can't be budget cuts because the Q2 earnings just came out and they made a ton of money in Q2. So this can't be budget cuts at all. This is something else. This is
they put the 2 quarters together that they already put out there, and they base it over the 4 quarters, and they say they're bound to make $875 million again this year.
As somebody who's worked for several companies that got bought and layoffs happened, this is exactly where they're going. There's no doubt in my mind. I've been there, I've lived through it. They're selling.
They have to be. You don't just cut all these people for no reason. Budget cuts, like you've already done 5 cuts now over the last 16 months. It's one thing if you get rid of a couple of guys that are making a ton of money, like a Braun. I understand he's making over $1 million. I can understand that. Or, a few other people if they have disagreements or whatever, or just people you're not using that, say Bobby Fish, where he probably makes a good chunk of money and he's been hurt 50 weeks out of 52 weeks. I can understand something like that. But certain people they're not even using. It's mind-boggling at times.
And the timing of a lot of this is strange too, because I said Bray Wyatt
so close
last week.
to SummerSlam and so close to coming back, with live events. It's go on.
The timing with Bray Wyatt was weird because he'd just gotten cleared 2 days before, and they had an angle set up for him. Bronson Reed, as you mentioned, is up doing dark matches to get him onto the main roster, and that's what doesn't make sense to me.
It's like what I was thinking is a couple of weeks ago is there's almost like 2 crews with the WWE where the head people like the Nick Khan group and who's in charge of production and TV aren't talking to each other because you've got plans for all these people, and then they all of a sudden cut these people. No one's talking to each other. I wonder if all these cuts in the back, there's just not enough people now, and then no one knows who's doing what. How did Adam Cole's contract come up and no one knew it was coming up? Or today they said Pete Dunne's contract's up at the same time and WWE had no clue that was coming up. How does this happen if you have somebody that are in charge of all these things? Because they probably cut them, and now there's not enough people to remember all this stuff anymore. How
do you not know about a 90/30 day non-compete? How do you not check that? Hey, I just got something that said, and again, this is unsubstantiated, so I'm not sure how true this is, but apparently there's some info out there that Khan, not Tony, but the other one, and the CFO, they want to have nothing close to anything in the red. Everything's going to be in the black. Like I said, this is classic business stuff, right? They want to have a perfect bottom line so they can be sold. It's lined up that way. And I'm wondering, who it is. Is it Universal? Is it Comcast? Is it,
It has to be NBC Universal.
Russ, are you taking a poop right now?
No, I'm not.
If that is a bathroom, it's lovely.
It is a bathroom, but I'm not taking a poop.
Oh. I'm actually
and Bronson Reed's already tweeted that you don't know what you've done.
They probably don't. We were just talking about that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he said, this monster is back on the loose. You don't know what you've just done.
They probably don't know what they've just done.
No, they don't.
Vince has no clue who's been released and who hasn't.
Oh, they're all almost all of them are NXT people, right? No one's on. He doesn't know anybody down there. He doesn't know their names.
And this all stems from a couple of weeks ago when Vince went down and checked on everybody. Like, who do we got? And it obviously has become a who do we don't want instead of who do we got.
I will not be shocked if by Q4, Q1 of 2022, it's weird to say.
QAnon.
Yeah, no. Either Q4 or Q1, I wouldn't be surprised if there is an announcement that there's a deal in place. My prediction is Universal.
That's what I would say.
But I've also heard Disney. Now, Universal made the offer prior to Peacock.
They did. Yep.
They had a
big
huge
offer.
deal.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Huge deal.
NBC and Universal and Peacock, they're the same thing.
Well, yeah. But then the WWE did this different deal. So, again, here's another Simpsons reference for you and how Vince has become Mr. Burns. It's almost like when the Germans visited the plant and they offered way more money than he expected and begrudgingly accepted. I think Universal came to him with more money than he expected.
What is Vince gonna do though?
Retire.
No, that's not in his makeup. What is he gonna do?
He doesn't look healthy.
He's gonna run for president.
Well, he's been doing it for what? Since like the mid 70s, almost every day.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he was a ring announcer or doing commentary or whatever for his dad back in the mid 70s. But basically, since the mid 70s, he's been every day involved with it. That's a long grind, especially if you're turning. Was he 76 or 75 this year?
77, I thought.
77.
And also, Shane just took a new job.
Right. And
Yeah, that's a sign right there.
And for some reason, he won't give it to Triple H to run.
Well, because CM Punk called him what he is. He's a doofus.
True. I know. I was listening to some podcast earlier today, and they had the idea of, well, they have enough money. What if Tony Khan's dad bought the WWE?
And then you got the same
I know
crap situation.
They were just going.
Ago.
He's worth $50 billion.
Yeah.
That would just be, like, I know he would never ever sell it to them, but just imagine that it'd be done again. That'd be awful. But somebody was bringing that up. I'm like, oh man.
We're in the middle of a wrestling renaissance. We're at the beginning of it.
You're not going to do that.
You can't do that. You can't go back to 20 years ago. Really, if you think about it, from late 2001, maybe 2002 up to now, it's been kind of the dark ages there.
Yes. Yeah.
There's been a lot of good stuff out there. Some of the best athletes that we've ever seen in the ring,
Yep.
But it also hasn't been the most entertaining either. Cause you went from such a high with the Monday Night Wars. And then all of a sudden it's like, you can't buy your competition.
No,
you
saw
can't
what
ever,
it did. Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can't ever wish that they go out of business. You can't ever try to get them out of business. You can try to be better than them, but you need them.
Mm-hmm.
You need them every single day. You need them.
Yeah, you have to have somebody.
With SummerSlam being 2 weeks away, I'm going to be there, so I'm going to certainly try to figure out from people.
You need to get a hold of Nick Khan there. You need to find him somewhere and shadow him.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to speak to a couple people that might know not necessarily what's going on, but rumors inside of a place sometimes more than not lead to truth. So
sure. There's something that somebody put out from PWI Insider. The WWE is going to repackage NXT with a new logo, new lighting, and different format to the show. The idea is to focus on younger talent, not the older guys anymore.
They just released all of them.
And that this house cleaning is working towards that. Right, as you said, it's kind of like half the guys they released are in that group.
Well, that also reminds me too is I was asked to go to the SummerSlam, and then that Thursday they're having a what is it? They're having a not an audition, but like they're having wrestlers come in to audition basically.
Tryouts.
Oh, they're doing tryouts on Thursday?
Yeah, they're doing the tryouts the Thursday before. So
In Vegas?
And there's been talk too that they want 25-year-old, like 26-year-olds.
I've heard they want people under 30.
Yeah.
A bunch of them.
Watch my comeback.
I mean, I guess it's smart, but then like doing it all at once though, like just kind of do it in installments.
Like, all right, like, yeah, Mercedes Martinez and Fisher, 40 years old. Okay, they're up there. Not that they can't work anymore, but some of these guys are like they're in their 30s or 35. It's like you can work till you're 50 if you keep yourself in shape. So it's not like they're over the hill and they can't move. It's not like they're the giant collie.
Is that why Bronson Reed got fired? Because he's 32?
I'm wondering if
that cutoff.
Either that or they, Vince likes the big guys, but I don't know. He's a big guy. He doesn't make sense for it. Like,
but
then Adam Cole's definitely gone. Like, he's 32, 33 coming up. He's gone. Right. Unless they get rid of him tonight.
The other thing too with Bronson Reed, like you said, he likes the big guys, but you have Keith Lee. You have
who they've killed.
He'll probably be gone soon.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I was
saying a size queen.
Because then they have what's that guy? Odyssey Jones.
Oh, Vince is in love with that guy.
You know what I mean? So
he's over 30 though.
I don't know.
No, I'm saying like he loves the big guys, but then it's like then they say they want guys under 30, but then at times it makes no sense. And bring back Goldberg. There you go.
So are they just doing like what any baseball team would do, football team, basketball team? They're just rebuilding and getting rid of any older talent and just trying to get like the young guys.
Oklahoma City Thunder right now.
That's what they're suggesting they're doing, but it doesn't always seem to be that's exactly what they're doing.
No, because like you said, there's Goldberg, who's the oldest person on the roster.
But it's like if you bring in all these new people, that's not going to help you get any kind of ratings. Or if you go on the road, no one's going to watch them. Like you have to keep some of these guys around, even if they're not super established, just to have them at the top. I mean, you can build people up, but they don't build anybody up, as we've been saying for weeks. They just, bring in the old guy, bring in the veteran, bring in this guy, bring in that guy. They'll bring Tyler Breeze back next week because they need somebody.
But like now that I'm thinking about it, after with all this stuff, and then you have SummerSlam's 2 weeks away?
The 21st.
Yeah.
So all right, yeah.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
So the two big matches
right after it.
Takeover's the next night.
Right. Which is I feel like that's gonna blow SummerSlam out of the water. I think. But
Samoa Joe makes no sense in that realm of bringing him back since he's over 40. They're going to put the belt on him.
Right. I mean,
Vince does love Samoans.
Fact.
He always has.
I wonder if Vince gets mad because he told Joe that he couldn't wrestle anymore. That's why he had him in the commentary booth for so long.
But he has the Nick Khan connection.
That's true. That's probably a saving grace is Nick Khan.
Did that to Savage too. Look how that worked out.
Yeah.
We need to find Nick Khan.
Well, you need to talk to him.
Yeah,
and
you need to get a hold of this guy.
What I need you to do in the middle of that is call him Tony.
Oh, I'm sure someone has.
JR has.
Yeah.
It's because like this hasn't happened before. Like, I mean, they have their releases, but like you can usually make sense of them and be like, okay, that person's whatever, cool, but like a little shocking. But
Mhm.
there's been just like a lot of just like aftershocks after the immediate earthquake that is just like, holy, like it's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Every year when they do the after Mania, releases,
Mm-hmm.
it was always, you see the list. It's like, okay, not surprised, not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like these last 2 years, it's just, I mean, I don't know. It does. It almost just seems like everybody's just abandoned ship. Just everybody's, whatever, not quitting, but everyone's just getting let go. And
Mhm.
I don't know. It just,
And AEW can't pick everybody up,
no.
obviously, but
No.
the fact that these names are as big as they are has made AEW pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
They're
You pick up certain names, you have to. It's just a no-brainer.
100%.
I definitely feel like, no, yeah, even if you have no room on your roster, there's certain guys
Yeah,
that
right,
if you know what I mean, if you're gonna pick them up.
right.
I
And you
even-
should.
Right.
Tommy
I mean-
End becomes available.
You make
You're
room
picking
for him,
him
and
up.
then you get rid of somebody.
Who's that, Brian? I can't see that
Oh,
far.
that's Joey Janela.
Oh, there it is.
It's almost as if like you were a billionaire wrestling fan. There could be now a newer federation, newer than AEW. Now's the time.
That's what I'm saying. We're in a renaissance where there's other places that some of these people can go to.
Right, you got all the promotions, MLW, Impact, ROH. They're going to be picking some of these people up. They should.
Yeah. Now this round, there isn't anybody in this round that I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to see them, pop up somewhere else. They do. Who cares?
No, I mean, someone like Bobby Fish could go back to Ring of Honor because he had a pass there. It would make sense for him to go there. You know,
he could do New Japan, he was a junior in New Japan.
I could see that. Or Impact because they work with them. I could see that. I mean, certain people, just Bronson Reed should get a job somewhere for sure. He's good.
Right. Yeah. If he doesn't end up, I mean, like you said, it's kind of.
I could see Tony Khan bring him in.
I could see it.
I could see it.
But at the same, if he's, close to Bray Wyatt, coming in and you got, the whole Punk and Danielson thing, maybe.
I know you got 30 days for these guys before they can show up.
Right.
But if you did sign him, you could wait till November, December. I mean, you don't have to rush him in either.
Right. That's the thing. You just kind of, it's, I'm sure Tony Khan's salivating at some of these people, but at the same time,
probably in this cut, not many.
Oh yeah, this one no, but
there's another name too, Adam Cole, who he's probably getting ready to sign as well.
Oh yeah, that's another one. If he's available, it's a no-brainer in my mind. There's just so many storylines right there. You don't even have to write.
So if Adam Cole, oh man, I can't. Do you think the whole Undisputed Era goes? I mean,
they're pretty much all broken up now, though.
Right, but I'm just saying,
the Diamond Mine, Roderick Strong just re-signed. I mean, that means nothing nowadays. He could get cut tomorrow.
I was gonna say not for nothing.
I guess he re-signed for 3 years a couple weeks ago.
They just got rid of one of those Diamond Mine
guys.
That
Tyler guy?
Tyler Rust,
right? Yep.
So now you
Kyle O'Reilly was doing the faux Orange Cassidy gimmick.
Right, yeah. Just
where he's dressing all in denim. I don't even know what that was all about.
They were Triple H really liked Tyler Rust too.
Well, you can tell he's got no say on who gets cut.
Zero say anymore.
I'm sure a lot of these people he wouldn't want to get rid of. And
there's somebody new that's apparently working with Triple H too in a talent relations thing. So I get, if there ever was one, honeymoon is over with Triple H and Vince.
Seems like it.
I've said this before. Could there be trouble with Triple H and Stephanie in real life? And the overprotective father is taking it out on the future, possibly future, speculation, of course, future ex-son-in-law.
That's the next thing to fall next.
Is he the next cut Triple H?
Then you would know for a fact that something really bad happened.
That'd be wild.
Yeah. Well, he'd have no trouble finding a job somewhere else to help out.
Oh, he'd have a job in a second.
Yep.
Job in the Cody Rhodes, baby.
No, he would beat them, and then Cody Rhodes would come out and try to retire. And
then he'd lose the match.
Yep. Then 3 weeks from then, it would be like, I don't know, a scaffold match, because there's an old match that he'll bring back.
Yep. Caribbean barbed wire.
That's coming up. The scaffold match for sure is coming up at some point. I'm sure they have one built already. They're just waiting for the right time to use it. Anything Dusty came up with, the bunkhouse brawl will be back, I'm sure.
We need
I'll just kick off feuds.
Prison to come back.
What is it?
We need the Punjabi prison to come back.
I don't need to see that.
Yeah, definitely don't need that at all.
That's what I'm all set with.
That's no.
That or the
kennel from
the
hell.
tuxedo match with two guys. You know, I don't need to see that either again.
You might with Reginald.
Reginald and who?
It's
Baron
Reggie
Corbin.
now.
Reggie and Baron Corbin.
I love how they decided to change Reginald's name to Reggie.
Is there a reason for that?
Because Vince McMahon thinks we're stupid.
Did you see the promo? He was just like, I'm not French. I was just lying. Now I'm Reggie.
So that,
you know,
that's
just
all? Wow.
It's like, okay.
Well, it's just like Kofi. I'm not really from Jamaica.
I didn't see that. They changed Reginald's name to Reggie.
Yeah, he's just Reggie now.
No.
Jesus Christ.
He doesn't have a French accent anymore. But I think, honestly, though, I think he might be like either Haitian or something, because he does have an accent, but it's not like it's not as, you know.
I think he's from the Caribbean. I think legit he is.
Could be.
But he was about as much French as Apollo Crews is from Nigeria, and Kofi Kingston is from Jamaica.
They say he's from St. Louis, Missouri.
That's the Caribbean.
I was a fan of Reginald. Now I have to be a fan of Reggie.
He's not even a wrestler, right? He's just he's an acrobat.
Yeah,
he's a flippity flip guy. He loves doing little flippity flips.
He was in the Cirque du Soleil.
But
His
you know what though?
Are more special.
They are, and he's actually got some charisma, which Ricochet doesn't.
Oh boy!
Yeah, he dropped his French accent and says his name's really Reggie because he needed the sommelier position for Carmella, so he pretended to be French. That was the whole interview, I guess.
Is anybody else getting angry right now? Like, I am legit getting angry at hearing this.
Yep.
It's just like, I was lying. That's fine.
Holy.
Crazy.
That's kind of funny.
Well, I think this is everyone's negative in here is all these releases.
Have we had a positive yet?
Yeah.
The Malakai Black debut is my positive.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I have that too. Just the whole way that they did the whole performance, the entrance, you know, how he just destroyed him, exited, just made him look like a main eventer in 10 minutes. The WWE had all this time and never did it.
I know they have 2 weeks left until SummerSlam, and I haven't gone off on a Goldberg rant yet, but I know they've got 2 weeks left and 2 Raws beforehand.
Yep.
But they basically have Goldberg looking very strong going into this. And usually that means that he's not going over.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, you know, when you have that build up,
right,
you know, it goes the opposite direction. I hope they're not swerving us.
No, I hope not.
If he wins the title, I'm driving to Stanford.
Drive to Vegas. SummerSlam's there.
I think we should pay Russ to jump the ring and take the belt.
But yes. I mean, I guess the thing is if Goldberg does win, where do you go from there? You just have Lashley beat him at Super Saudi Arabia Blood Oil Money Super Show.
Basically,
Blood Oil Money.
Basically, because that's supposed to be in October if they can get there.
Why are we glancing over that line? That was cold.
Because everybody says it. Rick Baker said it a couple weeks ago. Who doesn't believe that's true, though?
Saudi oil blood money.
That's what it is. Maybe they can keep them on the in the planes and the tarmac even longer. Hold them hostage. That was a
There's
weird
only
That's why
story.
Kane-
5 matches
Kane will work
so
the
far
show.
for SummerSlam.
Kane better not work the show. He is an elected official, and if they decide to hold them hostage again, that becomes an international incident.
He's
Like,
worked the
legit.
last two. Oh no, I understand. He went there with them once with it when that happened, right? Was he on
Yeah.
that? I think he was on that
the last
show.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
That could become a real problem, though.
Oh
It's
yeah.
one thing to hold a bunch of wrestlers, kind of holding them hostage, not really hostage or anything. It's another thing to have an elected official. Now it becomes an actual government matter.
Yeah.
Again, not like you have any guys with masks on, with a flag behind them with a big machete or anything yet, but
They're close though.
who hasn't watched those videos?
Yeah.
3 a.m. when you can't go to sleep.
Someone's heating up.
So give us a positive, Tom. What did you have?
The only positive that I would have hoped for this week is a test result for Mr. Goldberg. Your T-cell count is about to shrink, sir.
Wow. T cells. What?
Someone better cancel Christmas and get a smaller size of clothes. What was
Wow.
that?
You couldn't give Goldberg COVID.
No.
The common cold.
Straight for the T cells.
Diarrhea.
right for the AIDS,
Oh, jeez.
which is what he injects into wrestling every time he shows up. He is his own pandemic, just destroying wrestling one match at a time.
There should be a gimmick, the pandemic.
I feel like that would have been an old school WCW gimmick that would have shown up at Halloween Havoc with Kevin Sullivan as part of it.
Or his
And it would
manager.
be fear.
Oh, fear.
Prepackaged fear.
I like it. He's the
Package
pandemic.
fear to go after Vince.
That's the problem. We have a match with him now, and all he's going to do is say something about Vince in the camera.
Basically.
No, Joe, you can't do that. I'm trying to think of a positive. I mean, Aleister Black, definitely. He really looks everything that he should have been in the WWE.
Yeah.
And it's the beginning, and it's only going to get better for him. So I think that's a huge positive. I think a positive out of a negative is the fact that neither Jericho nor Juventud got injured during that. Both of them made that out unscathed. And hopefully, we never see Juventud again.
I'm saying that it wasn't Juventud's
It was
fault.
both. It was both.
It was both, but I think it was Jericho's more.
I feel like Jericho's just trying to not so much stay like, I mean, I'm sure he's trying to reinvent himself, and I guess should say stay relevant, but sometimes it just seems like he's trying too hard.
I think that's what this Labours wound up being, is him trying too hard to come up with something great.
As you get older, you can't do things like you used to do when you were young. There's a reason why Ozzy Osbourne would play a show on a Monday night and then not play another one until Thursday. You can't do the back-to-backs anymore. Jericho at 50 is trying to do the band thing. He's doing, the 50 million other things he does during the week, and he's wrestling literally every week.
Yeah.
And he can't do that anymore.
Right.
I would say he wasn't even doing that at those first AEWs. You know what I mean? Especially when he was the champ. He was just, but yeah, he's going out there every week, and then
there's a reason why Vince Neil doesn't sing every night. And there should be a reason why Jericho doesn't wrestle every week.
I totally forgot about how Fozzie's back on the road. I totally forgot that that's going to affect him too.
Yeah, well,
not just the match.
Jericho's focus is on so many other things that, like, he's not phoning it in, but but like it definitely is gearing towards that route of phoning it in. Like if he didn't have the band, or if he didn't have writing a book or doing this, that, and the other thing, then he would be like Kenny Omega or something like that.
No, he just needs to not work every week. He needs to take a few weeks off between matches at this age.
The labor should have been spread out
Yeah.
longer.
Right.
And the last labor is stupid. Wardlow, I don't like.
That's only the fourth one.
Yeah, that's the fourth one.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
the
still
last one is MJF though.
We don't know.
We don't know if
really
that's
explained it.
number 5 or if that's the
final.
Yeah, he actually has gotten through 5 to get to MJF.
See, I assumed it was the 5, which would have been the last one to wrap up the Dynamite before the pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I think I took it as, since Wardlow came out and then MJF said that he's going to be the ref, like how will you get the chance to go up against MJF kind of thing? So like, I don't know if there's going to be. I think MJF is after Wardlow, and I don't know how the hell they're going to do it with MJF as the ref.
He's not the ref after all. JR misspoke. He's going to be at ringside with him. He's not going to be the ref.
Oh, well.
They had to clarify it on social media after the show was over, and they said,
well, then that answers that.
Mhm. Right. But if he can't have the inner circle come out and help him,
right?
How's it going to end? MJF causing Wardlow to lose, probably somehow.
Yeah.
I hope it's not that easy to figure out. I hope it's something different.
I just can't see, like, if 5 isn't MJF and it's the 5th one and then MJF. Like I said earlier, what could it possibly even be? You know what I mean? It's
Right.
Like it's is it going to be the scaffold match? Is that when they whip out the scaffold match? Is that, you know what I mean? Just
oh man,
for the hell of it.
What are they going to put in with them though for that?
Serpentico.
Oh God,
boy.
Joey Janela.
Keep going. Who else?
I mean, honestly, though, not for nothing, Janela would probably be the best fit because I'm sure he'd just be, that's fine.
He would take the bump and he'd love it.
Yeah, throw me into the 3rd row. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's just happy to be there.
As long as this chair breaks my fall, I'll be fine.
Right. I don't know. The only thing I thought is maybe some sort of gauntlet match if there is one before MJF.
Oh, I can see that. He has to get through everybody in the Pinnacle again.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back Double J. That's JEFFJARRET.
Well, he's available.
He could defend the global championship, whatever the league.
It would be the guitar on a pole match.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh God.
It's going to be Lance Storm.
Someone was talking about it.
That would actually work.
Yeah.
Lance Storm says he wants one more match before he retires and against Jericho.
He won against Jericho?
Yep.
Has he seen Jericho wrestle lately?
Lance Storm hasn't wrestled in like 5 years, so.
But I bet you he probably way better shape than Jericho.
Yeah,
you never know.
Jericho's got a little big around the old belly area.
He's got a muscle gut. He's got a Zandig muscle gut now.
Yep.
Over the last few weeks, it's gotten a lot larger looking.
He really
I want
starts
that
to
to
look
be
like
an NXT name, Zandig Muscle Gut.
Zandig muscle gut.
he's been
Bosco
looking
Kapowski.
Too many names. Vince likes one word names.
just the one.
Muscle gut. Just muscle gut.
Just muscle gut.
Jericho's been looking like Vigo from Ghostbusters 2. It's not good.
Yeah.
I can't believe I waited that long to say that line and I got nothing. You all were right for interrupting me. It's like you guys knew this is gonna be a bomb. Let's save him.
Should have just said muscle gut instead.
Seriously.
Yeah, you can't follow muscle gut with
Ugh.
any jokes.
So anyone else have a positive? I have one more positive left.
Go for it.
So it's the return of PWG.
Yep.
I think that's incredible, especially all this talk about the forbidden door, and I mean, it's wide open in PWG. I mean, granted, there's no
door.
Right, the DVD won't be out for another
6-7 months.
I was gonna say years, but okay. So yeah, there's no chance of seeing that anytime soon.
Right.
But yeah, just looking at the results and the pictures from the show, it's just they had Impact, New Japan, just everyone, Ring of Honor, AEW,
MLW.
and MLW. Yeah, they just.
I'm not a fan of their price point.
No, that's what
I
you said.
I don't even know what their is. Is it expensive to go?
It's super expensive now.
It's I think the cheapest ticket's 100.
No way.
Yeah.
But they sell them every time. They sell out every time, right?
Sell out
It's
every time, which I mean, why change it if they're not?
Right.
But like I remember going to PWG shows for $10.
Reseda was dirt cheap to rent that place.
Yeah, and I remember going for $20, and then I remember spending $80 one time,
Oof.
and then I was just like, all right, I can have the WWE Network for a year, or
right,
maybe go to like, or go to SummerSlam, or go to like,
Right.
And especially this past, like it was cool, but it was the Mystery Vortex, and you're paying to walk in and not know what you're paying for.
Yep.
See, I'm okay with that though. I think that's I mean, especially with PWG, I've never really heard anyone say,
Right.
"Oh man, that PWG show really sucked last night." It's
usually like in my findings through the years, it was the fans that kind of ruined it. Like for all the times that like I'd go to ECW with like Brian and Jonathan and everything, and just like we were so spoiled with so many awesome shows through that and the WWE and all that kind of stuff, that when I moved out here to California and went to a couple PWG shows, it was just like they're trying too hard, or they're not doing like, and then it hit. Then it was just like, okay, this is cool. And then it got cool to go. And
I was Sofia Vergara and stuff started showing up, and everyone, and that was it. And then tickets became.
And then they had that moment. And
now
they
just brought in too many people that cost a ton of money to bring them in.
Right.
And now they're in a new location because the
Globe Theater.
Yeah, because
that's an awesome location though. Just like from the pictures and like videos.
It's cool, but it's like I think they said 4 times the price to rent compared to Reseda.
Oh, I'm sure. And well, the Reseda building doesn't exist anymore.
Right. No, they got rid of it. Yeah. I'm just saying, like rent wise, it's 4 times more expensive for just the building alone.
Right. And they needed the room because people are going.
Oh, right. It's a lot bigger.
But what was great to counter PWG was bar wrestling. And bar wrestling was so awesome. It was $20, got in. You'd see most of the people that were at PWG anyways.
Sure.
And then Joey Ryan got canceled, and then now there's no more bar wrestling, which sucks.
So I was actually going to mention something about it. I guess I could call him my buddy. He wrestles out in California. He's been on NWA TV, Captain Yuma or Johnny Yuma.
Yeah. He's in NWA now too.
Right. So we're kind of like Instagram homies, I guess. And he made a post yesterday or the day before, and he's actually starting a promotion called like raise the bar wrestling, kind of like
I
where
heard something about that. Yeah.
so like that's I guess him, trying to get something going that's,
affordable and cheaper and
right.
whatnot. Yeah.
So maybe, trying to probably, who knows, they might run the bar, the bar wrestling venue.
I don't even know where they ran.
Well, they actually they ran it ran in two places. They ran in this like random VFW that was super small, like real tiny, and then they were at this place called the Bootleg Theater, which was really awesome. But I believe this past year, the Bootleg Theater has since closed down.
Closed
so
too.
I don't know where there's plenty of places to go. I have a friend that did Maverick wrestling promotion called Maverick that Killer Cross was their champion.
Right.
Where
did they run out of?
Right before he signed, and that was a fun. But the guy who ran that is moving to New York, so there's definitely a need for an alternative. So I hope Yuma gets that off the ground, because that would be awesome.
I know that GCW's there this weekend running 2 shows, Saturday and Sunday, and I think it's at like the Polish Cultural Center in LA. I don't know where that is at all.
Yeah, I'd have to check that out.
I think that's where it is. I don't know if it's, what size it is or anything like that.
So I'm reading this here. Raise the Bar Wrestling. The first show was October 14th, 2021. Where is it? The Glass House in Pomona, California.
Pomona's a little bit of a trip, but it's a cool little like old school town. Could be interesting. Pomona's, you have to go there. Yeah, like no one just lands in
It's
Pomona.
27 miles from LA.
Yeah, I saw a Manowar concert there once.
Oh, okay. The Glass House. The only thing they show on Google is Glass House Record Store.
Well, then maybe it's
I don't know. Could be something next to it. I have no
maybe
idea.
this. Yeah, I'll say either that. Or maybe that's where they're selling like tickets out of.
Sure, could be. No, there's something called the Glass House, but it's somewhere different. Looks like it's outdoors, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it just says 248 West 2nd Street, Pomona, California. They're gonna try to run monthly.
Well,
Yeah.
the poster that I see has all the people that were in bar wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty much like the SoCal.
Watts, AJ Gray, Adrian Questley, Moriarty.
Jervis Cottonbelly, the Rock
Yep.
Mess Monsters, Delilah Doom.
Yeah, it's mostly just the local people from that area. But you want to bring in a ton of people, though.
I mean, it looks like they're,
Yeah,
especially
it looks like kind of like a just a little tiny concert venue or like a bar area. They have a little stage, all floor seats.
yeah, that'd be cool. I mean,
Worth
Worth
looking
a
at.
shot.
Yeah.
$25 is
I
worth
hope it
a
works
shot.
out. Any wrestling to it's always good to.
Yeah, the cheapest seat for PWG was $80 standing room,
That's insane.
and then the opera seating or front row was 125.
And I
then
think
the
some of
the opera area, you had to spend $25 in food money too, so that's like 150.
Am
yeah,
I
that I
the
was just gonna say you have to pay. You have to
Yep.
pay. It's almost like a comedy club where you
Yeah,
have to have
right. Mhm.
2 drinks.
no kidding.
Yep.
Am I the only one that hates now that like wrestling now there's no seats anymore? Like I just like the last like 3 shows I've been to is just there's no chairs.
I
It's
don't
just
like that.
you know, yeah.
That's why I won't go to a Beyond show. I don't want to stand up the whole night.
Yeah, it's rough. It's
ridiculous.
really rough.
Yeah.
I hate that at concerts.
And not because I can't do it. I just don't want to do it.
Right. I mean, I'll be the first. I'm not going to stand there for 4 hours. You know, especially like a lot of indie shows.
Yeah, they're long. They're not short shows anymore.
Like the last, what was it? That last Beyond show that I went to, American Rana, that was at Foxwoods. That was like a 4-hour show.
It went almost.
You know what I mean? Just
4.5 hours. Yeah,
that's insane to just stand there. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you stand right at the ringside, like right at the ring too. It's not even a barricade. You're right at the ring.
Right, and it was me and my daughter were talking about that. We went to a show at was it the Feet Music Hall, however you want to call it, in Rhode Island.
Yep.
It's Beyond used to run there, and I guess Beyond and Chikara did a double header.
Oh, okay.
So Chikara ran during the day. I took my kids to go see Chikara.
Right.
But because it was Beyond's venue already, like there was no chairs.
No.
And you know, same thing. Like you know, my daughter jokes with me all the time, like, hey, do you remember when Eddie Kingston stepped on me? Because he legit stepped on her because she's standing next to the ring. He's on a tag match.
Right.
And but that's how close everybody is. And
exactly.
And I kind of hate that, like the whole, you know, they do like a crazy ass move and then everyone's got to come up and slap the ring. And it's like, it's like, I remember being a kid and just, you know, just you going to like these little high school indie shows and, you know, just no, you don't even get near the ring, or just you know, they had guardrails, but just the whole, I think just the whole like concert atmosphere to wrestling shows kind of kills it sometimes, especially when they're 4.5 hours long.
Right. I don't know. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of this without chairs. I don't. That does nothing for me. First of all, you got the rowdy crowd and all the kids trying to hit, you know, touch everybody or push people and all that, and just don't want to deal with it. Just find a seat somewhere. I'd be happy.
I was loving the one time I saw Beyond. It was at that Melrose venue where we went and saw the Progress show. Progress with
Evolve, right? Yep.
And they didn't have any seats, but luckily
they have those
bleachers
that are permanent. Yeah.
So that's where we just sat, because I'm not going to stand for, you know, literally 4 hours for the show.
Right. No, I don't.
That was my soapbox rant. I'm fat. I want to sit down. God damn it.
I mean, for a show or two, it'd be cool to watch or whatever, but after a while, it's just kind of like it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's just then, you know, at certain points, you're not even paying. You know, I'm standing next to some smelly dude because we're all just crammed into some.
Yeah, your back locks up after a while.
Especially some of those buildings they run, like the White Eagle Hall or whatever that place is called in Worcester. That place is so tiny as it is. It's like you have no room to move at all. There's three people over your shoulders, not including who's in front of you or next to you. It's like you're a sardine.
Right. And then you get stepped on by Eddie Kingston.
Yep. Or they come out of the ring and then everyone scatters and you wind up getting knocked over, or someone else runs into you. It's such a mess.
Yeah, I do love Beyond shows. Like I feel like they put on some good stuff, entertaining stuff. But that's just that
part of it I don't like.
Right. Like I liked when they did at the Foxwood show. They had two sides of the ring where
they did two sides with seats and
standing
two open.
Up, and then the other two sides where they actually had chairs.
They should do that at all their shows.
Yeah. But
I'm sure some people go to see them for the first time and they're like, "What the hell is this all about?"
I was blown away that first time when that Chikara doubleheader, and I'm like, there's no chairs, you know. And then Beyond does. I like how they do that gimmick where it's like, well, if you want a chair, it's an extra $40 for you. You know what I mean? Like you can sit in the VIP section,
right?
but you have to pay $80 for a ticket.
Yeah, no one wants to rent the chairs.
That's what you're basically doing.
Right.
Bring your own. Oh no, you can't sit down.
That's like a Comic-Con I'm doing in November. I got the email being like, "Oh, thanks for your purchase. If you need tables, you can rent them through the hall." You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'll bring my own tables then, buddy. But it's
Yeah.
like, but yeah, just nobody wants to. I mean, you can't just give someone a like, I don't know. That just blows my mind.
Mhm.
Oh, we're not going to put chairs up.
Everybody wants a buck somewhere.
Shikara probably had no clue that they weren't going to have chairs there.
I actually think because same thing, like through social media, one of their old announcers, like we talk every now and again,
Mhm.
and the same thing. I remember him saying that, and he was just like, we had no clue. We just
I'm
walked in,
sure
and they
they
were like,
didn't.
oh,
Mhm. Yeah, because they're like the kid friendly and have fun, not totally
Right.
different kind of audience. So no chairs are probably going. Okay, when are they setting it up? No, there aren't any. What?
yeah, that was
All right. Well, I guess we'll do it one time. We don't have a choice at this point.
Right. Good luck with.
Yeah, pretty much. Russ, what did you have for ideas today? Any positives or negatives on your end?
Well, I mean, we've touched quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think
It's like college for me.
oh, there's Tom.
Thought he took a nap.
I feel a positive is SummerSlam. I think though 2 weeks away, though 5 matches so far, I think they're gonna pull it off, and it's gonna be a really cool thing to see in the new stadium in Vegas. It's gonna have, like, for all the happenings that are happening with the WWE, and are they going to sell? Are they not going to sell? Are they? Is Vince crazy? Does this, that, and the other thing?
Mhm.
I think they'll land the plane for SummerSlam. Who knows what will happen the night after or the week after or whatever? But I think we're in store for a surprise, and that would lead to a negative where there hasn't been really a surprise in the WWE besides people being let go. Like,
Mhm.
there's been surprises, whether we knew or know of them in AEW, and there's been surprises in wrestling, but not in the WWE. And then the WWE is usually known for that sometimes.
Mhm.
It feels like that hasn't happened in a long time, where it's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like, I mean, I guess you could say John Cena, but I think there has to be something else. And maybe it will happen at SummerSlam. Maybe the Rock will come out, or maybe something will happen. I don't know. I have some faith in the WWE.
And I have none.
I've lost all of
I don't
mine.
think
Zero faith.
SummerSlam looks good at all from what they're doing so far.
I think of the WWE roster right now, and I think of Rick Pitino back in the day when he was coach of the Celtics, and he went off and said, Larry Bird's not walking through that door. Kevin McHale's not walking through that door. And if they do, they're going to be old and gray. And you're seeing that with the WWE roster. The people who are walking through that door now are your John Cena's, are your Bill Goldbergs, and they're old and gray.
Edge.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're top guys that, because they, as we've covered on already tonight, they haven't built any top guys.
Yep.
They haven't created anybody in a long time. What they've created is a roster of guys that aren't viable candidates. So you have to bring back these older guys. I have no faith in the WWE product right now. I have none, because even if SummerSlam is a great show, and God willing, as a wrestling fan, I hope it is.
Yeah.
But if it's not a good show, I mean, even if it is a great show, what happens after that? You still don't have anybody that's a viable contender for either title. You don't.
Right.
It's sad. I could rattle off about 5 or 6 names in AEW right now that would be viable contenders. I can't do that for the WWE right now for either belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely
Who
painted
from-
themselves in like a corner. It's
Totally.
Who
Yeah.
from the AEW currently would be an instant number one contender for the Universal and/or World Championship in the WWE?
Kenny Omega
Yep.
is a definite.
Malakai Black,
Mhm.
Definite.
especially after Wednesday.
Yep. I would say Miro.
Yep.
If he continues with this gimmick that he's got going. I mean, even fat ass Chris Jericho would still
Believe
be
it or
a
not.
top contender. Yep, he 100% would be. Am I missing anybody?
I think Hangman could be.
Mox.
Moxley.
Yep. Mhm.
There's another one. There's 5 right there. Yeah, Hangman. You could throw him up there.
I
I
guess
think-
even Christian. I mean,
Yep.
he's a former
I
champ.
don't see why not at this point.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt,
CM Punk.
CM Punk, Daniel Bryan.
And
Bronson
then,
Reed.
but look at the
Britt
WWE
Baker.
roster. Yeah. Who in the WWE right now is a viable contender?
I think we got
Yeah, I
2
mean,
guys
other
we
than-
said,
Yeah.
Awesome.
McIntyre and what?
Big
Big
E.
E.
Big E.
Big
and
E.
that's it.
And honestly, Big E, it only because he has
Because
the
he has
briefcase.
the briefcase, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I don't think he's still not. I feel
Say
like
he
he's still not to the level.
say he didn't win the Money in the Bank, he wouldn't be a viable contender.
Nope. No.
What
So
about
really,
America's
McIntyre.
Most Wanted, Johnny Drip Drip?
He needs to stay as far away from anything related to a championship
Yeah.
and just let him be a clown.
Yep. Him and Miz are doing the comedy gimmick.
Which is fine. They're just not
Yep.
title contenders.
Exactly. There's a place for it. It's just not in the main event. And
Never-
they literally have
Really
nobody.
don't know who they have that's viable title contenders.
They need to build somebody. The problem is that they're going to have to build somebody quickly. And that
Mm.
doesn't work because
Nope.
they're not
Never
viable.
does.
No.
But like, all right, say this meeting between Vince and Adam Cole goes well tonight,
Sure.
and you bring Adam Cole up.
hmm
Do you really? I mean, you put Adam Cole against Lashley or Roman.
Not
They're
At
going to
the
eat him
moment.
up.
you got to do the same thing. You got to build people up, and they're not building anybody up.
Right.
But see, as much as Adam, like,
So say you put Sheamus in there against one of those. Is he credible just because he's a champion right now? Not
I don't
really.
No, but at least I feel like at least Sheamus could like punch those guys in the face
He'd give
for
him a
real.
decent
You know what
match,
I mean,
but-
like, yeah,
Do you think he's going to take a title?
No.
I don't.
Even a
There's-
Finn Balor, same deal.
Mhm.
And
And
here's
who's the other champ? Apollo Crews, as you said, you didn't even know had the championship belt. He's not viable to beat either of them.
Hmm. Well, Cena stole Finn Balor's title shot.
and here's the thing too, where they backed themselves into a corner creatively. Your 2 champions are gigantic guys.
Mhm.
Lashley is just huge. So who's gonna be someone that can actually take the title off of him and make it look credible?
right.
You got to bring Lesnar back.
Yeah, Lesnar. You had McIntyre, but that just you kind of crapped on that.
Yep.
I mean, I guess you could throw Orton in there if you wanted to. I mean, You know,
Lashley wants Lesnar.
Yeah, he does.
and it's funny. It's
But
because
again, it's another part-timer.
right. You're just
You know,
not.
They just can't build anybody. They can't create anything.
They cut him off at their legs. Every time somebody gets momentum, they just destroy him. But
Yep.
it makes no sense.
They had a perfect opportunity to put Keith Lee in that top tier when at the. I mean, there was what was it that there was like a 2 month span, 2 or 3 month span where he did the Survivor Series, like eliminated Rollins and almost
got the Roman Reigns handshake.
Yep, and then it was like he came into the Rumble that year, and had the thing with Lesnar.
Yep, right.
And it's like they just it's I don't know why.
And then it just stopped almost like just abruptly out of the blue.
And it's just it seems like that's the MO now is everyone just nobody can get out of starting gate.
Or they get a little momentum and for some reason they have them lose 3 weeks in a row for no apparent reason.
I mean, I don't even like the guy, but Karrion Kross, you could have just stuck him on the main roster even as NXT champ.
Sure.
He could have mowed down Jeff Hardy. You know what I mean? Like
he should have. He should have.
Right.
Well, he just recently lost to Keith Lee himself.
Right. But that was kind of the same thing though. It's one, you're not going to beat Keith Lee 3 weeks in a row because then now he's that's you don't want to make him look like complete garbage unless you're trying to right. But at the same time,
humble.
You do have Cross does look like a star. You know what I mean? And it's just like I said, I don't like him personally. Just not
I don't
personally.
think he's a very good wrestler, but he has that look though. I know what you're saying.
Right. And it's just, I mean, if that's what it is, it's somebody new, stick him with Lashley, have him just, go 20 minutes and just, potato each other. Right. You know what I mean? And just maybe you put, you don't even do it that time. Maybe he comes close and, loses to whatever, but it's just, you have, Lashley, you take him to the limit.
Sure.
Does Big E cash in at SummerSlam against to allow Goldberg not to lose, and just kind of like Goldberg could spear like 47 times Lashley, and then Big E could come out or something like that. Do you think that would happen?
I would accept that ending over Goldberg beating Lashley.
Right.
And again, as I've said this before, Goldberg going over Lashley sets two things in motion. You're telling your locker room, none of you are good enough to beat Lashley, which, by the way, currently constituted, not 100% wrong.
Right.
And you're also basically saying that we've built this guy to be this monster, and he's run through the entire locker room, but he's actually not that good enough to beat a guy who's 58 years old, who's half his size at this point.
Yep.
And again, the locker room is that much more pathetic as a result.
And look what happened the last time Goldberg won the title there.
It killed Bray, and
exactly.
Now he's gone. It
totally
completely destroyed the Fiend
legs
gimmick.
Out of him.
Yep. It destroyed the Fiend gimmick.
Same thing will happen to Lashley if he loses to Goldberg. He's done.
Yeah.
So
His
do you
push is
think
over with?
Do you think Big E switches from SmackDown to Raw to cash in on Lashley instead of?
I could see that, especially since the draft is coming soon. So
the rumor is he's supposed to go over there, and Drew McIntyre's flopping spots with him at least.
Yeah,
so
they want to put
Big E will be on
together.
Raw, so New Day can be all together again at times, and then Drew and Lashley, they want to get away from each other, so Drew will go over with Roman.
Drew needs SmackDown, the SmackDown change.
Yeah. I mean, some changes make sense, but besides him, there's not really any viable contenders.
And then there'll always be the random guy that shows up who's supposed to be on Raw, but he's going to show up on SmackDown because they forgot that they drafted him over to Raw. And
well, they're still moving. They moved over a couple people from Retribution over there under their real names again to back to SmackDown just randomly. They didn't even tell them, I guess.
By the way, speaking of all that, this whole Mustafa Ali and Mansoor tag team against, the guys that Ali used to be in charge of.
Yeah.
Teabag and
Teabag and
T-Cell and
oh Jesus.
but
T-Money.
they haven't mentioned once that they were all part of a faction, have they? Like, no mention of it.
No.
At one point,
Nope.
Mustafa Ali was actually the head
in
of a
charge of
faction
them. Yep.
that
Mhm.
these guys were involved in.
Right.
Not a word of it.
Nope,
Why
never-
would we have consistency?
Never happened. Never happened.
Never happened.
I'm surprised they haven't taken the masks off those guys yet and have them back to their old gimmicks by now.
Because Vince thinks they're the Ascension. He has no clue they're not.
Well, he's booking them that way.
They're terrible with that makeup on.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that they don't. Well, at least what I don't know what his gimmick name is, Mace, I think, or something.
Mason T-Bar.
Yeah. Right.
But like he just looks like a dude. You know what I mean? With dreadlocks. He's not very imposing. He's not like, I mean, at least Dijak or Dijakovic or whatever you want to call him.
Dijakovic, yep.
I like
Yeah.
him, or I like him.
He's
He's
decent.
great. He's a good big man.
Mhm.
I mean, he definitely, he has the look.
Yeah.
And it just, but you saddle him with that awful gimmick, and it's only a matter of time before no one gives a crap about him because he's doing some stupid tag team gimmick.
Never get over.
He could be like Sid.
Mess up his promos.
Right, because I go on live TV.
Like to play softball more than wrestle.
Oh.
Stab Arn Anderson with scissors.
Everything comes back.
Sid better not come back. Is he the next challenger?
Oh, geez.
he looks a little worse for wear lately.
And Goldberg doesn't?
Valid. Sid still plays softball all the time, though.
Not shocked by that. It's summertime, right?
Oh, yeah. I still love that he had to have that written into his WCW contract that he
That
got
was
to
awesome.
have a couple of months kind of lenient schedule so he could go play softball. I would have that written into my
He was in a
contract.
money league. He had to be there.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And Braun Strowman's dad, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but Braun Strowman's
Yeah,
dad
he's
was
like
like
a legendary.
huge legend.
Really?
And, oh, yeah.
Oh.
He was involved in this team that was just known throughout the 80s as just mashers, complete
okay.
mashers. And the dad himself is like the end all be all of that.
Oh, wow.
He still
Yeah, he's
talked
Babe
about,
Ruth.
yeah, he's talked about in the softball circles I run in now.
Oh, cool.
And Braun Strowman is, the kid. And I've seen him
Yeah.
hit 450-foot blast with a wood bat,
Hmm.
which is unheard of.
Right. Dio Madden. That's the other guy. Mace. He was a former ring announcer for Raw.
Dio,
for a
man, that's
while.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar killed him or something.
Yep. Right.
And
It's
then
like they're
came
afraid
back.
to take the mask off of him, like people remember who he is or something. Weird.
I mean, it is kind of weird how like WWE just thinks that, if we don't mention it, it'll just go away, or
Yeah.
like our fans are dumb.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? Like,
really
As
believe
you
we're
said with
dumb.
Mustafa and Retribution, no one's supposed to remember anything about him if you don't say it. Ridiculous.
It's happened forever too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but lately it seems to be a little bit more blatant.
true.
Like the Retribution gimmick wasn't that long ago. It's one thing if it's been a few years and
Mhm.
they don't mention it.
Right.
They used to pull that in the 80s all the time, but
Yep.
now it's like 2 weeks ago something happened that we're not going to mention. Like, why?
Yeah. Right.
There's no consistency in the storylines. It's gone from, I don't know. I'm gonna let that train derail on its own right there.
Well, WWE's doing a good job themselves.
They're doing a job, all right.
They sure are doing a job for AEW.
Yeah. And where it leads to, no one knows. Except for selling, and I think.
Oh, 100% are.
I
And
mean, every day something else points that way. Every day.
Universal or even Disney makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Because they can put obviously Universal will have a WWE section, which would be kind of cool. They would probably have the Physical Hall of Fame there.
Sure.
It makes so much sense.
Totally, yeah. And they already made an offer once already on it.
Yeah.
I say they've been talking about that for ages now.
Mm-hmm.
How cool would that be though to go to Universal? You're in the Simpsons park hanging out, like, oh, let's go to Hogwarts. No, let's go to the WWE land.
Yep.
I mean, that's
for sure. That could totally sell.
There was I remember hearing like probably 10 years ago that they had interested in there used to be an NBA themed restaurant in Universal Studios in between both parks.
Yep.
It was called the NBA City.
Yeah.
And it's like right in between it's right next to like the Hard Rock Cafe / Hard Rock concert venue.
It was like in Disney Springs.
The city Universal. Yeah, it's
now.
now it's like a chocolate thing, but it used to be NBA City. That was speculation. That's where it was gonna that the Hall of Fame was gonna go, but they went like Russ said, it's like a chocolate restaurant now or something. But I would, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
you know what I'm especially with they had the TV show there that they just did the treasures of most wanted treasures.
Right.
Which if that's not building to a Physical Hall of Fame, why are they doing it?
Exactly. You're spending all this money, buying all this stuff to what? Put it in a warehouse? I mean,
like a 2 million square foot warehouse that just holds everything. They never throw anything away. Why would you keep it?
Right. I mean, so that's, they'd be dumb not to, why not just have this stuff? Why you need a warehouse? Get the Hall of Fame.
How many people would go see it just to go see it? Not even to be there. Oh, let's just go because we're here. People would actually go there to see it.
Yeah, it'd have to be Universal or Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And why not everything both? In Florida? Yeah, I mean they do everything in Florida, so that just makes more sense.
Right. But why not do it like kind of how if it's Universal, they have 2 Universal parks,
and they have plenty of stuff you could put in both. Plenty.
Right. You have like the East Coast be more, maybe you get a little more WCW stuff in it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Especially down south. That makes sense.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because they have everything. They even have ECW stuff now. I mean, they have everything.
I mean, they got the big SmackDown fist, they got
every casket Undertaker used and all, burnt caskets, broken caskets, whatever you could think, as you've seen in the show, they have everything there.
Yeah, they could continue to revamp it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be a cool Hall of Fame. Because a lot of Hall of Fames aren't cool. I mean, right. I've never been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, or the NFL Hall of Fame, speaking of this weekend. But I've been to the Basketball Hall of Fame, and it's kind of weak.
Yeah, the Basketball Hall of Fame's lame.
Basketball's no good, right? I've been to baseball. I enjoy Baseball Hall of Fame.
That's because the whole town is legit.
That's all it is, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
You step into like a 1930. The time hasn't changed from 1938.
No, pretty much not.
I want a house in the lake there so bad.
I've never been to the Football Hall of Fame, but I heard it's only okay.
And then I went for an event to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and it's in a cool building and it's
Mhm.
cool.
It's
but
just a circle.
It's just cars.
was
Yeah, it's
thinking-
just a circle with cards.
I was gonna say they had them
It's
going
the
in
s-
circles.
I was saying it's just the same car driving by you
I know the
500 times.
The NHL one up in Canada is really, really cool. I haven't been to that one either.
Yeah, I haven't been
I
to
wanna
that
go
one
to
now.
that.
They
That's
said
right
that was
near,
really cool.
That's right near the Rogers Center too, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
right down the street. But yeah, they WWE Hall of Fame just sells itself.
Well, absolutely, especially like when I know they do the access setups and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I feel like just you can still do the access stuff,
Sure.
but like the bigger
Yeah.
the bigger stuff like the Hell in a Cell, you know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like I know sometimes they set up one of those, or they
Yeah.
I mean, for us, they could even set up a Punjabi prison match
There you
at some
go.
point.
Let's do this.
You know what I mean?
Well, the good thing about it is that like they do have the access, and that's really they've had the Hell in the Cell and they've had the Elimination Chamber and
Mhm.
stuff like that.
No, they could set up with the Elimination Chamber since they built a brand new one a few years ago.
Right. Yeah, and I remember them also doing well, we
Drugs.
all remember they had WWE New York, and
Right.
Love that place.
Mhm.
it could have been even better and better.
Right.
But they can have matches there, they could have shows there, they could have signings there, they could just have a continuous, like they could have an NXT there.
Well, that's what you
Why
should
not?
do. The Elemental guys go down there on the weekends and have matches.
Right. Instead of doing like the coconut loops, you just
Right. Just send some of them down there.
drive to
Keep-
Universal.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right. You're going to get a crowd there. People will watch.
absolutely. Especially, you know what I mean? Like not for nothing, TNA did that.
Yeah.
That was
Correct. Right. Mhm.
some of their most popular years was just people trying to get out of the heat at
Right.
Universal
Exactly. Yeah.
Studios.
They'd always be able to get people in there. Mhm.
The beautiful thing about the Baseball Hall of Fame, and I'm relating it to wrestling, so bear with me, is when you're there, every now and again, you may run into somebody.
Yep.
I've run into George Brett there. I've run into Nolan Ryan there.
Oh, sure. Mhm.
Random times too. I was in there with Derek Jeter's parents once.
Oh, wow.
So a place like that, you run into them. So if you're in Universal Studios, next thing you know, there's the Honky Tonk Man, or
Sure.
who,
Mhm.
name a guy who's in the Hall of Fame who may just happen to be there because he's looking at artifacts or whatever, just happens to be checking stuff out. That, as a fan, is pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. And especially too, like we were just saying, they're already in Orlando.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like send you send an NXT guy over there or whatever, if they're not doing tours or house shows, send Johnny Gargano over there for like from 2 to 4, you know what I
Sure.
mean? On like a
Yeah.
Saturday.
Right.
It's
But not announce it either. Don't announce it. Just have them kind of walking around and
right.
kind of playing the part of, I just happen to be here too because I'm interested. Let's take a picture.
Right. Why not? Then you have word of mouth spread, so
That'd be
everyone
cool.
wants to be there.
Yeah.
Who are you going to
Yeah.
see? Oh, Ciampa's there today. Oh, God, really?
And same thing with maybe some of these legends, you know what I mean? Like that
Oh, yeah.
are not so much doing, not like the best financially. Maybe just you give them a payday every now and again. Just
Ryan
for-
Knobs.
Virgil,
Right.
Coco Beware.
Or you could just have Jimmy Hart walk around all day because just why not? That's what he does at Hall of Fame.
The man loves a good Hall of Fame.
But he'd probably be there at least 2 days a week. He lives in the area. I could see him be there all the time.
Giving out
Tells good stories too.
giving out coupons for his daiquiri bar or whatever it is that he owns.
Right.
But yeah, I would totally love a Hall of Fame. Like I
Who
said, from the
who wouldn't go there at least once if you're a fan?
Absolutely. I
Definitely.
like Russ said, it's like a destination. It's not
Mhm.
just, I'm sure, if you're just at Universal Studios or whatever, you know what I mean? You're if you're just walking around City Walk, hey, why not? Let's go in here,
Right.
but it's,
You're going to get the diehards and the casual fans. So,
Absolutely.
you're getting everything.
You can have some nice people that are in the that are been inducted. You get some of their gear or something, or
Right.
I think it'd be cool.
Totally.
Hopefully it happens.
Yeah.
I'm going to Florida next year, so maybe they can get something going soon, so I can.
Get their act together.
You'll have to find someone. Who knows? We might know before you get there what's happening at the weight rate they're going right now. They might have a sale before the year's out.
I know.
I guarantee it.
If they're trying to make sure that they stay out of the red, what you heard was right.
Yeah. I mean, it's
It's more than just keeping your books all set. You're doing something else.
Definitely. And like I said, I've been through it a few times with a
Mhm.
few different companies, and
Yep.
it smells just like those ones did.
Yeah, because they're making money hand over fist. It's not like they're cutting people because they can't afford it.
Right.
There's some ulterior motive.
Trying to get the profit margins
How
up.
much money would it sell for, though?
What was the offer that they said Universal made?
Something
Was
like
it 500?
No,
million?
it was like close
Billions.
to $1 billion,
Yeah.
at least $1 billion, I think, for everything, all of it, the library, all the warehouse stuff,
Do you
everything.
think they would get more? Do you think they would get more? Like Star Wars got 4 billion, or George Lucas got 4 billion. The Clippers got 2 billion, like $1 billion almost. So you'd think they'd get maybe a couple billion, maybe.
Well, that
which
could
is
have been
nuts.
just a number they threw out there to see what Vince would react to. They have more money than that, obviously. How much did they throw in for the TV deal and all that stuff? It wasn't cheap.
With the Fox TV deal?
No, for getting the Peacock network and all that.
Oh.
Didn't they give them like 500 million for over a couple of years or something like that? I think the
I don't
number was
know.
pretty big. I don't remember exactly what it was. I know Universal could easily give them a few billion. It wouldn't put them out of business.
So it's just wild that everything just. It's like
$1 billion apparently.
soon, like 3 companies are going to own everything.
It was a 5-year deal for $1 billion to put them on Peacock.
So they'd need more than that. To
So it'd
sell
be,
it.
oh yeah, totally.
For 5 years.
Yep.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And they're worried about being in the red.
Well, I know the Fox deal was pretty close to that too. And the USA deal was a lot of money. So they're looking probably close to $2.5 to $3 billion just on TV deals and rights
And
to
they'll
the
keep
network.
getting them.
And that's not even like advertising and
Right. Right.
unbelievable.
5-year deal, $205 million a year for SmackDown.
Jesus.
That's why they don't care
USA
what they
is
put
giving
on.
them $265 million a year for SmackDown for 5 years.
And then they have the network overseas, and then they
Yep.
have like
Mhm.
nuts.
That's why they're saying budget cuts. It's not budget cuts. No way. And then the whole last year they did barely spent money having to travel. It was all out of house just about. I mean, yeah, they had to secure Tropicana Field and Amalie
Yeah.
Arena or
And
whatever
even
they
if
used.
Thunderdome was like $20 million to make, that's just
Oh,
nothing compared to what
I think they said when they were in Orlando, the first one, I think it was like 125 million for whatever it was, like 6 months or whatever. I know Tropicana Field was like dirt cheap. And then the other place they were at after Tropicana Field was the same thing. They begged and pleaded them to come. So there's probably like super cheap too. But your TV deals, you're making a ton of money off of it. It's just flying the talent in every week. That's about the only thing that they had to deal with. And who knows, they probably made him pay for it still, like they did when they're on the road for the live shows.
I mean, not for nothing too, though. Like I know most of those talents are pretty local in Florida, so it's they're
Some do,
probably
some
saving.
don't. Depends on who. Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple, but for the most part, I think a lot of those people are located in Florida or
A group of them.
relatively close.
Yeah. I know Miz and Morrison come out of LA every week when they were flying in every week. Bailey was out of there too. I mean, it depends on who. I know like there's a bunch that are down there. All the NXT people obviously are.
Right.
I don't know about main roster wise. The Usos and Roman lived in Florida. I don't know where
Big E
everyone
lives
else
in
lives.
Tampa.
Yep.
Trying to think. I'm sure
I think
there's
Xavier Woods is in Georgia somewhere.
more. Right. Kofi's in Texas.
Mhm. Travel's not that bad though.
Right.
Right. When that's at this point, it's really your only cost.
Yeah.
That's a constant.
Right.
It would. I feel it would be weird to have like a house if you're a successful professional wrestler, because you're never there.
That's true.
Well, not anymore. I mean, now they do I mean, especially with the pandemic, they were flying in on that Monday or whatever, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Then there was a pay-per-view, so then Sunday and Monday.
Mhm.
At that point, they were home 5 days a week.
Sure. Now they're back on the road. What they do, maybe a Friday or Saturday show.
Was it? Yeah. So they just do what Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Well, if you're on SmackDown, I think it's like Friday, Saturday, and if you're on Raw, it's Sunday, Monday. So it's like you're only out for 2 days, or maybe say
Right.
add a third day for travel or whatever, because you might not leave after Raw's over if you're
Right.
there till past midnight or something. But
And then they'll usually do like a super show or whatever on a Sunday now.
sometimes, right? Especially right nowadays, just coming back on the road, they are
It's still not even like it used to be where they're on the road 300 days a year.
more. Yeah. Yeah, I think they were on the road for like 50 days and you get 2 days off or something crazy back in the mid 80s.
Something like that.
That was nuts. I couldn't
keep up
imagine
with
that in those days having your own house, besides if you had a family. But if you didn't, it's like, why would you?
Right.
You're never there. 20 days a year, 30 days a year at most. That's like, there's no point to it.
Yeah, you're just wasting money.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a family, it's one thing.
Random story. Speaking of like, I guess renting and borrowing and stuff.
Yeah.
The other day, I'm driving home from work. It's bumper to bumper traffic, and I look over and I see this kid in the car. He's telling me to point down. He's rolled down my window. So I'm like, all I can see is his hand.
Sure.
So I roll down my window, and he just yells out, "Oh, awesome bumper sticker on the back of on your truck." And it's the Lucha Mask logo that I have on my hat usually.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like I get a better look at him. It's Anthony Green. So funny.
Yeah.
But the thing that made me laugh is, as we're pulling off and traffic starting to go again on the highway, I noticed his license plate. It was like an old Massachusetts license, like the green license plates, like the old people
really?
have.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just like, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, just driving. I was like, Anthony Green's totally driving to like his grandmother's
Probably.
friggin' RAV4. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh. But it might as why would you buy a car or?
Well, at that point, he was in Florida because he was with NXT or 205 Live or whatever. He probably hasn't even got a place yet. Who knows? Again, I know he lived up around the area, but he could have sold it or whatever. Not thinking to be back so quickly. How many times did he get on TV? What, a couple of times?
He's on for a few.
He's
pretty much like the day after he signed, I think he was on NXT.
Oh, wow.
And then he did a bunch of 205 Live stuff.
Right. I remember that stuff.
with just sporadic NXT here and there.
Him and Stallion, right?
Yep.
Or whatever he was called. I forget his name in WWE.
Actually, I think he just got released too.
Not this time. He got released the last group.
That's right.
July.
But yeah, he was on TV for a bit. It was funny too because he actually asked. He goes, "How do you even know me?" And I said, "I saw you on TV, bro." Like it was just kind of funny. He was just like,
Oh, he was all around the indies around here. I saw him all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
The retrosexual.
His gimmick though was just really. He was like, it was basically just ass, and he had his finishing move. It was like his
right.
I have two girls that their asses are out.
Yep.
And I do an awesome finisher, and that's it. I mean, he's a nice dude, but I've never been like, oh, I'm buying a ticket to see Anthony Green today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, right. I was shocked to get a deal with him.
Did you ever see his NXT tryout tape on the NXT tryout? Tough Enough. That's what I meant.
No, I never did.
Remember they couple probably 6-7 years ago at this point, they tried to bring Tough Enough back. Well, one of those times, and it's like, oh, send a YouTube video or use the hashtag, whatever it was. And I remember his video, it was literally him taking anyone that was at the New England Pro Wrestling Academy that day while he was making the video. He literally took everybody's finishing move.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was like, it was literally him just getting beat up by every other student there.
Sounds like Tom Anthony went through that.
Sure did.
And I just remember thinking to myself, it's like, well, that's great. It shows that you can, I guess work with everybody, but at the same time, it just,
that's how you portray yourself.
Right. You just showed everyone that you'd be a great job guy.
Yeah, right. You're the next Barry Horowitz.
But I mean, yeah, his, like I said, it was more just his finisher.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's not like he could use that finisher in WWE.
No.
Because, so it's like, why'd you sign him?
Yeah, kind of weird.
Good young kid, but it's just, he's not, he's like 5'10", 180 pounds.
Right.
There's really not much you can do with him.
No.
Future endeavored.
Thank you for listening to Through the Table Podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian. Catch us on Twitter and Facebook. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Till next time.